But the Jim might buy the winning ticket. Everybody's buying winning tickets.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Not expected.
Yeah, like treating you
More than I can.
royalty, right? How old are you? Or you don't get out. Serious? Headed to 89. Gotcha. You already turned 88. Last week. Happy belated birthday. Yeah, it's a month of Bob's birthday. It's Bob's birthday month. Margaret.
Yeah,
It's his whole month of birthday.
I'm with him. Yeah, okay, I'll show up.
Every day.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm trying to catch up with
Hello, young lady.
Hello, sir. Hang on. I'm looking.
Raffle tickets, come get your raffle tickets. The pot is over $1,100.
It's time to go and get your lunch. Enjoy. It looks like a fabulous meal today. We'll be back at 12:15. In the meantime, chat and enjoy each other's company.
Raffle tickets, get your raffle tickets. Last call for raffle tickets before we start the meeting.
Doing well, doing well.
The pot is over $1,100.
Tom Campbell, he had open heart surgery and had to resign. Help them. Once I can't see it. Well,
I don't like driving downtown. $100 to the Wright for polio. Check.
Got 5 minutes, hold on.
Yeah, my daughter retired. They're having a roof redone. I'm very fortunate. I got a single daughter, retired. Been close to me for all her life. I keep saying, I'm going to live with her in my house. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I hope you can get a sponsor. Yeah, that would be good. Writing, combined poetry, story, fantasy story. That's great. You know, I'm involved with some of those organizations have come to position for life. Well, there's a term one that's you're going to treat it after the next one? No, you can only be on the executive committee 6 years. Finance is the only position you can do in the city. So I'll do that. But I was auditor for 5 years before, and you could do that for 6, so technically I could. See how you're doing.
12:50. I ended my last meeting with a joke, and I'm going to start off today with a joke. Made up by my daughter. What do you call someone who studies ghosts? A boo-ologist. I thought it was rather good, but only one joke today, because no. Curtis. Hello, dear. Oh, Curtis has been with us since 2018.
I personally want to thank this table right here, clearly the Curtis Fan Club. The rest of you, let's do the pledge. I, to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Mr. Dodge?
It's not working, Curtis. I need you to sing it.
And this part of the meeting's over.
You know that he's going to be the president after me, so you won't have to listen to any more silly jokes. I know, you're all thrilled. But we always have to have a bit of silence and sadness, a moment of thought. Jan Green, our very, very well-favoured friend, has been very ill, and he needs get well wishes. I know that several of our members have been visiting him, and I believe that one member is actually a neighbour. Cards are being passed around. If you can sign and give him your very best thoughts. And you may or may not remember, but not long ago, his wonderful lady wife passed away. So a moment of silence, please. Isn't it? A moment of thought, I should say. Wishing Jan all the very, very best. And it's now time for the inspiration. Dan, who's been with us since January 2020.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Oh, there you are.
I'm right behind you. First slide, please. So my inspiration today is about chance. So if you ever remember the movie Ferris Bueller, he says life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. So about 2 months ago, I'm sitting at Barrio Brewery, and I meet a combat veteran who is now retired. That's the guy on the right. And we start talking, and he says, I'm going to Sturgis in a month. And I said, Sturgis in a month? I'm like, that's the best trip ever. I've never been to Sturgis. And he goes, as chance would have it, we got to talking, and he goes, I have an opening if you want to go. Next slide, please. So we went up, we drove 3,001 miles. We did it in 9 days. The power of chance. We saw the presidents. We hung out. Next slide, please. There were 12 guys, all type A personalities, all ran businesses. Everything got along good. We were one of the 451,000 motorcycles in Sturgis, a town of 6,000 people. So that's us the day we were leaving. But I'm going to go back to the power of chance. Like every once in a while, you got to stop and figure out what's going on. I cleared my schedule. I was gone for 9 days. I was so inspired to go. It was a great trip. And I actually made it back. So it's kind of cool.
That's fabulous.
All right, moving along, I am going to introduce the guests. And I would like to thank everybody who is here today. We have a bunch of guests. When we recognize you, would you please stand up so we know how to say hello? And if you have questions about membership, please let one of us know. We'll help you out. So without further ado, guest of Drew Vactor, Rob Toll. Rob? Guest of Amy Graves, Linda Weigel-Fior. I knew I was going to get it wrong. This is another one. A guest of Amy Graves, Amelia Hankasari. I practiced that. I'm sure I got it wrong. Guest of Sandra Johnson, Kira Reed Aragon or Carlos Aragon. Guest of Steve Ochoa, Sheila Chonis. Sheila. Guest of Alan Rogers, Paola Ochoa. Guest of the incredible Mitch Pizak, Peter Paisley. And guest of Nina Trasoff, Beth France. Welcome all, and thank you for joining us today.
And I would hope that of those that came today and visited us, and perhaps have visited several times, they would actually join us and become members. We're a great, great club. Thank you very much for that. That was great, Dan. And now, because we've got lots to get through today, and everybody's going to be very brief with their speeches. Right, thank you. I'm going to allow Jim Murphy to come straight to the microphone now.
Good afternoon. While our first speaker is making his way up to the podium, I wanted to just briefly review kind of the process so you have an idea of how the four groups got here today. 32 Rotarians nominated 37 nonprofits to receive a request for proposal to compete. Last year, 22 Rotarians nominated 31, so it's a little increase. 29 nonprofits actually submitted a request for a proposal compared to 19 last year. The grants committee in the RFP lays out exactly how the request for proposal responses are going to be evaluated. There were 5 major categories ranging from 30% to 10% and questions on each one of those. So they have a good idea what we're looking for. 5 nonprofits were chosen to make site visits so that we could confirm and ask questions about their proposals. And then we had one subsequent meeting to essentially vote not for one, if that makes sense. Rather than trying to vote for 4, we voted not for 1 to come down to the 4 who are presenting today. I'd like to briefly introduce our committee because they started working last February on this project. Elizabeth Bollinger, please stand. Gary Hirsch is out for an operation. Hugh Thompson, Nicole Lombardo, Nina Trasoff, Jim Engel, Gracie Quiros Maram, Judy Kagi, Luke Gibson, and Larry Adamson, who is out of town right now. There was so much that had to happen in coordinating, particularly the meeting today. And I want to thank the Rotary office and particularly Dorina for the outstanding help she gives all of us on all of our projects. Each nonprofit will make a 6-minute presentation regarding their projects. And Liz Bolger, who's sitting right down here, has cards of 2 minutes, 1 minute, and end. And when it says end, I'm taking the mic away if they haven't started, if they haven't stopped. There are copies on 1-pagers in each of the nonprofits that are at the table, so you can follow along with each presentation, at least for what they've submitted. The grants committee members will collect the votes after the last presentation and begin counting the ballots. Our co-chair of the 2024 Tucson Classic Car Show, Jen and Sean Hoffman, will actually make the announcement as to the two winners. Sean, unfortunately, is not going to be here, so Jean, as she often does, will carry the day. There'll also be a meeting of the Rotary Club Foundation to confirm, since that is the 501c3 made up totally of our own board members. So we're starting today, and I'd like to introduce Robin Stoddard, who most of you probably know, but he has been executive director of Wright Flight and the incorporator of it since 1986. He has lived in Tucson for 42 years, was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, has had 5 combat tours in the Middle East and received the Bronze Star for his service with Special Forces in Afghanistan. Sorry, it gets too far away then. He's also a simulator instructor teaching young fighter pilots combat skills at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. He has flown as a missionary pilot in Mexico, recipient of the Tucson Rotary's 4-Way Test Award for Service Above Self in 1994. His program was the only charity in Arizona to receive the Presidential Volunteer Action Award from the White House. His experience as a fighter pilot and missionary pilot led him to create the Wright Flight program. Robin?
Thank you, Jim and Rotarians. Thank you for the best day of my life. That's not my best day. It's what we try to give to as many students as possible. And we often get that written down and sent to us in letters. You can see, next slide. What I hope is we can have a blue airplane with a Rotary logo on, but look at our logo down below, from the bicycle to the Wright Flyer to the space shuttle. We inspire kids. The Wright brothers never went to college. They were self-taught engineers, and they changed history. And we tell the kids, if the Wright brothers can do it, you can do it too. So, Wright Flight's based on a contract. Three main clauses. There's a substance abuse pledge. So if the teacher sees the kids smoking in the schoolyard or vaping, they're out. They have to pass a history of aviation test with 85%. I've had parents come storming into my office saying my kids should fly. They got 80% on the test. Sorry, you signed a contract, you got to get 85%. They have to raise a grade in at least one subject, or if they're getting straight A's, they have to do a special aviation additional report. This has got to be agreed by the student and the teacher and signed. So for most of the kids at Wright Flight, it's the first time they've ever signed a contract. So there it is. It's in triplicate, and they have to list the steps to achieve their goal. So we have one kid from C.E. Rose Elementary. He was getting F's in spelling in 5th grade. He couldn't spell. His teacher said, well, what's your goal? And he said, well, my goal is to get an A in spelling. And this is his contract, a copy of it. She said, well, that's not a realistic goal. So the teacher made the student go ahead and go from an F to a B in spelling. Then the steps to achieve the goal. I'm going to study my spelling words every day of the week. 9 weeks later, the student from C.E. Rose Elementary, kind of on the wrong side of the tracks, if you will, he got A's in his spelling, and he won the school spelling bee. In 9 weeks, changed his life. And then when he came off the airplane, he was actually, in my opinion, walking about a foot off the ground. He was the first person in his family ever to fly in an airplane. Okay? So, this is some teacher quotes here. When an at-risk student gets engaged in this program, authentically engaged, they become resilient. And one of the reasons for that is we teach them about aviation role models. We teach them that other aviators overcame obstacles. The Wright brothers certainly did. Well, what about Jimmy Doolittle? Jimmy Doolittle came from a broken home. He was shorter than our wonderful president. He had long curly hair as a kid, and he got beat up. So Jimmy Doolittle decided, I'm going to learn how to box, and I'm going to learn how to fly. And as many of you know, he went on to earn the Medal of Honor, okay, from a broken home and being beaten up as a kid. So a kid in Wright Flight learns that. They become challenged. They say, well, Jimmy Doolittle could do it. Maybe I can do it. And that's what we try to teach. So we create those goals and objectives. We don't try to give a kid education. We try to make them want to get an education. Next. So they have their fly day, and on the fly day, they get to go out to the airplane. They get to, next, they do a walk around. They learn about the different forces of flight. And then they actually get in the airplane and get to fly. So the kids get to fly, and it changes their lives. The teachers report, we had one school, the semester after the kids did Wright Flight, they had a 78% increase in their honor roll. The kids had learned how to learn, and they couldn't turn it off. And that's what we try to provide. Next. So we take pictures of all the kids and the volunteers together, and we only have 3 paid staff positions. We have about 60 volunteers that work the program. Our highest expenditures is for the gas and insurance and the fuel for the fly days and maintenance. Next. So a lot of volunteers, a lot of educators. We have people in this very room that have been to volunteer on our fly days. We can always use more help. It's really fun to see a kid fly for the first time. And next. So real quickly, a Catalina High School teacher said we have a problem with the Wright Flight kids. I go, oh my gosh, what are they doing, stealing hubcaps off of airplanes or something? And she said, no, they're wearing their Wright Flight t-shirt they get when they graduate every day to school for 2 weeks. They won't wash it. They won't take it off. Okay, next. So some of the quick quotes. Wright Flight is, if I can see the Wright Flight, I can succeed at anything. I didn't see the 2-minute one. I now see the 1-minute one. So I'll just share another quick anecdote. From the middle of an Indian reservation. Thanks for going flying with me. This is from a young girl on the reservation. I know we really didn't talk much, but I really had a great time. I'm looking forward to an aviation career someday. From Nikki Chavez, from the middle of the reservation to an aviation career. P.S. Please excuse me for throwing up. Next. One of our greatest, next. Here's one of our best graduates, Jessica Cox. Born without arms, she now has a pilot and pilots her own airplane because of Wright Flight. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next presenter, who also happens to be a Rotarian, is Tom McKinney. Tom is the CEO of Interfaith Community Services and has served in that position for 4.5 years. He moved to Tucson 8 years ago from Minneapolis to work with the Tucson Symphony Orchestra as vice president of the Tucson Symphony Orchestra and as the CEO for 2 years. Tom has more than 40 years of experience in nonprofit organizations. Previously served as president and CEO of Make-A-Wish, Minnesota, executive director of the Northwest YMCA of Metropolitan Minneapolis, and vice president of the American Field Service Organization. Tom? Mike is yours.
Oh, she's got it. Okay. And then this will work? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present today and to be part of these charities that you're considering. ICS's mission is to provide more pathways to people for self-sufficiency and stability. We have 39 years of history here in Tucson. Our cornerstone programs have not really changed. We've just enhanced them as we've moved along. We provide food for people that are hungry. We provide emergency financial assistance for people that are going to be evicted or their lights will be turned off. We provide community health resources. We drive seniors or older adults to medical appointments. We provide food for older adults to keep them stable and living in their homes. Our stats last year, just a few numbers, we served over 61,000 people in Tucson. That was 9,000 people more than the year prior. Over 1,100 older adults, over 1,000 children, and we had 1,300 volunteers support us in this effort. But the number that's most interesting from the end of the pandemic to today is that our workforce development sites have increased by 362% of people coming to look for work. And that's really what I want to focus on. We learned from the pandemic and prior to the pandemic that if we brought our services closer to folks, that they would utilize them. So over the last 2 years, we built a site, or we enhanced a site at United Church of Christ on Craycroft and Broadway. You actually sponsored the Workforce Development Center that is at that site. We bought a mobile food truck to bring people food in food deserts. That food truck today, after being around for a year and a half, has 30% new people that still come to that food truck all the time. What we've also found is that on the south side of Tucson, we've enhanced our sites. We're seeing more and more people come from the south side. Over 60% of the zip codes that we're serving, or 60% of the people are coming from south side zip codes. Food is just a part of the journey. They need to get back to work. They need to become self-sufficient. A couple of stories I'd love to share is that there's a woman from Walmart, Pauline, who came to us, and Walmart was it was a part-time gig, no benefits. We helped her find a job at the VA, part-time with benefits. She's ecstatic. Colleen was a pharmacy tech with no movement up at all, no potential to move up. So we helped her enhance her resume, her interview skills, and she actually got a job with the city of Tucson. I'm still waiting for the finder's fee from them for that. I think it was with the water department. Her first question when she walked in is, what's the possibility to move up? How can I enhance or get a better salary? Michael, who actually has a master's, a significant experience in the workplace, had trouble interviewing. People found him maybe a little bit on the arrogant side. We helped work on his interview skills, and he actually ended up with a job with the county. So we are seeking funds to add one more workforce development site to what we're doing. And actually, we want to build a building on the south side. Our roots, we've had a building, or we've had a small space in the El Pueblo Community Center, if you've ever been there. No opportunity for workforce development. All we could do is give out money for people not to be evicted. So we're going to go back to our roots, and we are on 4 faith community campuses right now, and it's because they provide volunteers, they provide funding, but here's the lease that we work with. $1 a year for 40 years. The Rincon site is $1 a month for 3 years. So I'm going to just share with you the south side site. That is where we want to go, is on Valencia. We're going to build a building on the Unleashed Christian Church. We already do food service on that side. You can see the lines that line up for the food truck on that site. We will add, actually down there, we will house our truck as well as more storage and food for folks on there, but you'll see that one of those corner places right there will be a workforce development center. Those people can come and work with us. It'll look something like this, it just won't say Phoenix Fire Department. Okay, so, but it's a prefabricated building. It will have 5,000 square feet of area, 3,000 used for programming. We predict we will serve at least 1,500 people in the first year of operation with that. So for us, it's way more than about food. It's about self-sufficiency. It is the journey to getting people to take care of themselves, to get them to take care of their kids and their families. And sometimes we just have to walk beside them to help them get that. So thank you. Thank you for your past support. Thanks for allowing me to present today. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry I missed lunch, but I did get credit for the visit. Thank you so much.
Our next presenter is Tom Cromer, who joined the Amphi Foundation as its executive director in November of 2022. A Florida native, Tim has served as a United Methodist pastor in the Baltimore area, then served for 9 years at Interfaith Community Services. We just heard something about that. As the Director of Outreach and Partnership and Interim CEO. His wife, Laurel, works as an infection prevention specialist at Northwest Medical Center. Laurel, they live in the Amphi School District, and their son, Stephen, attends preschool. And he will have a couple other presenters with him that he will introduce.
Great. Thank you, Jim. With me today are Tassie Call, the Amphi School District's Associate Superintendent for Elementary Education, and Tiffany Bucciarelli-Fay, Amphi School District's Director of Early Childhood Education and the ECHO Program Director. Now, I would like to tell you all a little bit about Michael. Michael is a fourth grader at Keeling Elementary School, and Michael loved to read. He loved to read about space and dinosaurs and Captain America. He was a decent student, and he was excited about coming to school. However, 2 years earlier, Michael's mom lost her job working at a retail store because the retail store closed down. And his mom had trouble finding a single job that could support her and her 3 children. So Michael's mom did what any mom would do to support her kids. She got a second job. So for the last 2 years, Michael's mom has been leaving for her first job well before his school begins, and she returns late in the evening from her second job. And even though Michael loved to read and was a good student, he didn't have the same motivation to go to school as he used to when his mom was there to help him get out the door. So Michael started missing school, making it harder for him to do well in his homework, and then making bad grades make it even more embarrassing and make him want to go to school even less. Michael's love for reading started to fade.
Sadly, Michael's story is not unique to Keeling. Let me tell you a little bit about the students at Keeling and why we need your help today. Keeling is a school that's in the heart of the 85705 zip code, one of the most poverty-stricken areas in Arizona. COVID was devastating and isolating for this community. 98% of our students at Keeling live under the poverty line. Most of these families live paycheck to paycheck. For 36% of our students, their education is disrupted, with students bouncing from school to school, not allowing for any academic consistency. Attendance is another issue we face at Keeling. 40 students are absent each day. 71% of our students miss more than 18 days a year. This equates to missing a whole year of school by the time they graduate high school. Keeling is also a very diverse school. 25% of our students are English language learners, and 90% of our students come from homes that English is not their first language. And our test scores at Keeling have been far, far below expectations for years. Currently, only 7% of our students are proficient in math, only 12% are proficient in language arts, and 0% of our students are proficient in science. Keeling is one of the lowest performing schools in our district. It is so clear to us that we need to do something different at Keeling. The students in the community need help. After a lot of research into what works well in high poverty communities, the idea of the community school rose to the top. Creating a community school will impact generations of children in the Keeling neighborhood.
And with the support of the Tucson Rotary Club, we are confident that we can help re-engage Michael's love for reading and help him and a whole community of children and families at the Keeling Elementary get back on track. With the creation of the ECHO program, ECHO stands for Educational Community Home Outreach, we will be able to provide programs and services to children and their families aimed at addressing issues that can impede student learning. The ECHO program is built on a research-based model of wraparound services and programs that has been very successful in other high-need communities like Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Dallas, Texas. The ECHO program will support the well-being of our students by providing parents with a welcoming and fun place for their children to go before school, starting at 7 a.m., and after school till 7 p.m. each night, and even on Saturdays. Parents like Michael's mom can be at work and know their child are safe and learning through fun, engaging activities at absolutely no cost. There will also be activities that incorporate reading and math skills to increase students' academic proficiency. There will be wraparound services for the whole family provided through the community partnerships. These services will include a free family dinner nightly, a food pantry, washer and dryer machines, open to families, and a student resource room for clothes, school supplies, and hygiene kits. There will be a family engagement program provided weekly that will help include financial literacy and ESL workshops for parents, a computer lab open for parents, and other community outreach and resources. Making this a reality for our Keeling community will have a tremendous impact. In addition to the 270 kids who attend Keeling, this program will also touch the lives of their siblings at Amphi Middle and Amphi High School, impacting over 900 children living in this neighborhood. Our student and families will look forward to the after-school extracurricular activities and not want to miss school, to turn increasing attendance and engagement in school and ultimately improving student achievement. If we get our students to school, we can help them grow and learn.
In addition to all of this, studies have shown that a $15 return on investment for every dollar spent on community schools happens in this sort of program, meaning that a $100,000 Rotary Club investment potentially means a $1.5 million return. Yes, there's an extra zero on there, I see that. We have really high expectations for this program. So, friends, as you have seen, the ECHO program at Keeling will help transform the lives of hundreds of children and their families in this community. And as we learn from this program, the Amphi Foundation and the Amphi School District are committed to implementing programs in schools across the whole district, and the Rotary Club will be at the forefront of all of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Nicola Hartman, who recently took the role of Chief Executive Officer at Sister Jose's Women's Center. Before her time at Sister Jose's, Nicola served as an interim executive director for Watermark for Kids and CEO of Youth on Their Own. She served as a board member for the Sunnyside School Foundation and became the organization's founding executive director. You have another speaker or not?
No, she's just a
Okay. Nicole holds a bachelor's degree in marketing from the University of Arizona, Eller College of Management, and an MBA from Thunderbird School of Global Management at another university.
Tried to save you.
Okay, so button. And which one do that one to go forward? Okay. Okay. Guess we'll see. Oh, I'm shorter. Okay. Let me. Okay. I guess I will begin. Thank you for the opportunity to present Sister Jose Women's Center to Rotary Club of Tucson. My name is Nicola Hartman. I'm the CEO of Sister Jose Women's Center. We are a center serving unhoused women in Tucson. Who we serve? We serve women ranging in age from 18 to 86, and we're the only shelter in Tucson that welcomes pets. Many of our guests have disabilities, walkers, wheelchairs, they're on oxygen, and they are plugged in. 75% of our guests experience mental health or behavioral health issues like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, substance abuse, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Many of our guests are victims of sex trafficking and fleeing domestic violence, veterans. And one of our newest and biggest populations are those women who have lost their housing because they are on a fixed income and can no longer afford the rent and are experiencing homelessness for the first time. I want to tell you a story about Carol, one of our guests. Carol is 86, a former school teacher who came to Sister Jose's after she was evicted from her apartment when the rent was increased by 40%. She never thought she would be homeless. After being evicted, she spent a few weeks living in a motel until she ran out of money, and the police brought her to our center. I remember when she arrived, scared and in tears, holding onto her cat. She had lost everything. Carol stayed at Sister Jose's for about 5 months. We learned about Carol's past and helped her get the medical support she needed to navigate dementia. With support from our case navigators, we helped her obtain her identification and supportive services. We made sure Carol knew she was safe and cared for. Finally, we found a home for Carol, a place that would meet her needs. 35% of our guests are age 55 or older, and it is a growing population for us. 50% of our guests have zero income. What we do at Sister Jose, we are a low barrier shelter. We meet guests where they are. We don't ask for ID, we don't ask for backgrounds. We welcome them into our center. We are a welcoming space for 120 plus women who visit the center daily, and a safe space for 42 women and their companion pets each night. We help them access education, training, housing, and healthcare services, and we provide supportive services for the medically fragile and disabled. We are a center of love, and that is probably one of the most important things that we do. We provide meals, clothes, showers, laundry, a safe space to sleep, and caseworkers who help our guests navigate their futures. But it is not enough. Imagine it is late afternoon and you have nowhere to sleep. You arrive at Sister Jose's and see other women resting, eating a meal or enjoying a quiet conversation. You ask if there's a space for one more, but the answer is no. The shelter is full. Since 2018, there has been a 60% increase in the number of homelessness in Pima County. Of those, 30% are women, and of those, 78% are unsheltered. We can do more, and we have the space to allow for 15 more beds at our center. This is a place with additional restrooms and showers, and we have already completed our laundry expansion. 15 more beds means more than 5,000 safe spaces for our women to sleep. These are our neighbors, our sisters, our mothers, our grandmothers, who find themselves in unfortunate circumstances. We have already received 60% of the funding for the project, and we are hoping that through our partnership with Tucson Rotary, that you will help us fund a portion of the remaining amount. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you. And since I have a couple seconds, I will let you know we just had 2 women move out this week. One was a young woman, 22 weeks, clean and sober, with a job, moving into her own apartment. Another was a much older woman with dementia moving into supportive housing. So thank you for what you do for the community and this opportunity.
Okay, it's time for you to put on your thinking caps and decide who you feel on the 4 kind of presentations, which were really tough because they're all different, and unfortunately that's the way it goes. So members of our committee will start collecting your votes. We're going in to start counting the absentee ballots, and we'll be out in a little bit with the final votes.
Jim, I need your pen.
The instructions are on there. You vote for 2 and only 2.
Jim, give me the ability to vote a pen.
Pardon me?
Can I borrow your
Any other brief questions before I
Yeah, hurry.
continue with the meeting?
Count votes.
A question at the back. It says 2 on the sheet. 2 and only 2.
Yes, you can vote for only 1.
It says on the sheets vote 2.
No, you can only vote for 2. You can't vote for more.
You can only vote for 2. You can't vote for more. 2 maximum, so I don't know where the only 1 comes in place.
2 maximum.
2 maximum.
You can vote for 1.
Yeah,
Only.
1 or 2, but no more. Sorry if I misunderstood. I thought you could vote for 2, which you can, but no more than 2. So you can do 1 X or 2 X's, but you can't do 3 or 4 X's. crazy, huh? Having said all of that, here's what we do for those that don't know. We give a book to the Make Way for Books library, and we'll have Jim sign it, and it will go into the Make Way for Books, which is a library that we, Rotary, support. We've been doing it for many, many years. This one is called The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. While we're doing all of that, I'm going to go straight into the birthdays. And I'm going to reiterate short words. Okay, but happy birthday for 1 minute each. And I have words to say. But you know I always have words to say. Arthur Alice, his birthday, August the 29th. He's had over a decade of membership since '76, before rejoining us again in 1992. But things you don't know about him. He can't carry a tune in a dump truck. In 3rd grade music, the teacher asked him to hold the microphone for the singers. But what makes it worse is the microphone was on a stand.
I shall not sing. It's a pleasure to be part of this great organization. This is my 3rd time in it, and I truly enjoy being involved. Thank you. Here's a check.
The best part is the check. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And it's for the Ride to End Polio. Thank you very, very much, Arthur. That's wonderful. Terrific. The next one is Bob Ernstein. September the 12th is his birthday, and he's been with us since 1991. Education was his profession. What you don't know about Bob? In the summer of 1956, I was an intern on the French Riviera at the Hotel du Cap Antibes. Okay, forgive me, apologies, yes, right. And that was to fulfill his studies at Michigan State University's School of Hotel and Restaurant Management. Who wouldn't do that course of study if you could go to France? Yay, right.
Thank you. And again, I'm no longer as active as I was before, but I sure do appreciate Rotary and all that it does. And I have given a check for the Ride to End Polio. So thanks very much. Bye-bye.
When I said be brief, I didn't mean quite that brief, but you know it doesn't go astray, so thank you very much. Lovely. And then we have Diana Medeiros, wonderful, September the 15th, and she obviously studied art and design. Yay. So Diana Medeiros, she didn't, it says here. Art and design artist, Medeiros Gallery, Douglas College. She's a master. She's a mistress of it, excuse me. Wow. We had a conversation about master versus mistress at lunch. And on that score, I have to note that Amelia Earhart was a great pilot. Okay, fine. Mustn't forget about her. While we're talking about Wright flight, the person that did that ghost joke, my daughter, she was an early Wright flight person. No causal connection, trust me. Yeah, for bad joke writing. Diana's birthday. Whose birthday? In her past career in sports marketing, she arranged for John Denver to be the new celebrity host of the Pro-Am when Joe Garagiola retired. Garagiola. John generously offered to do something extra for our community, so we organized a one-man concert for 300 people, with all the funds benefiting the boys and girls clubs of Tucson. Absolutely fabulous. Diana.
Thank you, Margaret. So when it was Alan's birthday, he auctioned off his dessert. I'm giving away half of mine. Anyone want it? Anyone? It's coconut. All right, there you go, Bill.
The more fattening half.
You got it. Birthdays, I get there 2 minutes too. Excuse me. Birthdays are a time for reflection. And what I'm grateful for, among other things, is Rotary. And the more I get involved, the more you give, the more rewarding it is to participate. So when I was drafted to be on the board, Margaret said to me, well, there's only one position left, so you're going to take this position. And I'm like, okay, what is it? She says, well, it's one of the bigger ones. It's all the service projects. And I'm like, I am really not the right person to do that because I don't know that much about service projects, but guess what? Now I know everything. And as you might have heard, on November 1st, we're going to have a lunch. We're going to have 12 tables. We're going to have 12 of our Rotarians be the team leaders at each table, and we're going to switch 3 times, and you're going to go and learn about the project that you're interested in. You don't have to sign up for any of them. You can sign up for all of them, but it will give you exposure to what we can do and will be doing in this community. And our Rotary moniker is Service Above Self. And it dawned on me, as someone who didn't know anything about service projects, that, we recognize people for giving money with our Paul Harris Award, but we don't recognize our Rotarians for the service they do, which in my mind is equally as important. So this year we're going to recognize Rotarians for the service that you do. So every day of service, you get a point. And we're going to add all those up, and we're going to recognize one person at the end of each month, and then we're going to have our big awards at the end of the year. And just a quick thank you to Gary Olson. He gave us a massage. Bert Lopez, we've got the Ritz-Carlton for a weekend. We've got the Hilton El Conquistador for a weekend. Margaret's given us a week in San Carlos in her condo. Jim Click has given us 4 nights in Pine Top. I've given a $500 gift certificate to the gallery. We need about 3 more prizes. We'd love something on the beach and a couple more. So if anyone has a prize to give or knows of someone, a connection, if you could help, that would be great. So what we're going to do at the end of the year, the person who has the most days of service will get the grand prize. And they're going to come up and they're going to say, I want Margaret's condo in San Carlos. After that, for every 5 days of service that you put in, we're going to give you a raffle ticket. We're going to put a raffle ticket in for you. So Alan, if you do 15 days over the course of the year, you're going to get 3 raffle tickets. There you go. And then you get to pick what prize you want when your ticket's drawn. So it's going to be fun. We're going to recognize service. And, please come to that lunch, if not only to learn about the projects, but to honor those 14 Rotarians. We have some team co-leaders that have stepped up to do this. So hopefully you'll be there on November 1st. Oh, one very important thing for Lee. Car show counts. Now, if you start at 6 a.m. and you end at 6 p.m., that's 1 day of service, that's 1 point. If you're there for 4 hours, that's 1 point. It's too confusing to count hours. It's days. If you do cleanup on Sunday, that's another day. If you do setup on Friday, that's another day. So don't worry about it. We're going to tell you on November 1 how we're going to record all of your service. And there was a question. Marianne, did you have a question? Okay. All right, so I have checks. This one's for polio, and this one is I'm going to tear up.
Oh, no.
Because Dorena said I have to do this online. So this is for Hawaii relief. It has to be done online. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I wonder why he was giving us money. It's because he's going for half of the dessert. Isn't it fabulous? I mean, the things that we do. I mean, you got to have fun, don't you, really? Thank you, Diana, for explaining that about the services. And I just want you to know, this is a really structured way of letting everybody, including ourselves, know that we value service. We really do value service, and this is a great way of getting many service projects done. So thank you so much for that, Diana. Lovely. Right, and we now have a history moment coming up, and we have our very own beloved. I told him I loved him earlier on today. I do, Dr. John. It's fabulous.
Oh,
I forgot Princeton. Oh, mine was picked up too. Okay.
The two most outstanding schools of hotel management in this country are Michigan State and Cornell University, and you got both of them right here. And Diana's not even a past president, but she took about 5 minutes. Could I have my first slide, please? That's only half of it. No, go back. It says Rotary in Antarctica.
Insert the words in your head. I know. We can see it. Yeah.
All right, anyway, this past November, Noreen and I went on a National Geographic expedition to Antarctica. Next slide. Just getting there is quite an expedition in itself. 2 hours from here to Dallas, then 10 hours to Buenos Aires. When we got to Buenos Aires, I had to go through customs. I'm going through the customs officer's in his plastic shell, COVID, you know, and he sees Rotary on my travel vest, and he asks me, are you in Rotary? I said, yes, I am. He sticks his hand out underneath the plastic to shake my hand and says, I'm a Rotarian also. Then from Buenos Aires, it's 3 more hours to Ushuaia, which is the southernmost city in the world. Next. From Ushuaia, you got to get on a ship and 2 days, 2 nights across the roughest ocean water on the planet, the Drake Passage. Next. This is what it looked like from our cabin window. Next. Exactement. Finally we get there. Next. So every day we went exploring. Next. There was a penguin wanting to know what are these strange looking things here. Next. Some days we were on land, some days we were in these inflatable rafts, zodiacs, exploring icebergs. Next. This was our mothership, this was our home. And for size, you can see that there's a zodiac right in front of the bow. So on that ship, in between our explorations, we had National Geographic lecturers give talks to us. Next. This is Jamling Tenzing Norgay Sherpa. Really? He was one of our National Geographic lecturers. Jamling Tenzing Norgay Sherpa is the son of Tenzing Norgay Sherpa. Anybody know what he did? First man on Everest. Well, actually, he and Sir Edmund Hillary, New Zealand, were the first to get to the summit in 1953. And the only picture is one of Tenzing Norgay Sherpa on the summit. And neither one would say which one actually put foot on the summit first. But Sir Edmund Hillary said, the photo is of Tenzing because I didn't have time to teach him how to operate the camera. very generous. In any case, Jamling Tenzing Norgay Sherpa talked about, there's his father, hold on, and he talked about his father's mountain climbing experiences. He also talked about the Sherpas and the relationship, the physical and spiritual relationship between the Sherpas and the mountain. And he then talked about his mountain climbing experiences as a guide. And he was asked in 1996 to be a leader of the IMAX expedition that actually carried an IMAX camera. 1996 was the most disastrous climbing season in Everest history. That's when 11 people died on that mountain. And it was because of guides who were not using good judgment. In any case, the IMAX expedition was not part of that. They made it. And so Jamling told us all about that. Next. He wrote this book, which is an excellent read about the history of the mountain, the history of mountain climbing on the mountain, the Sherpas, and so on. Next. So at the end of our journey, and we were about to separate and go our separate ways, I went up to him and told him what a privilege it was for me to meet him and to be on the ship and to hear him talk, because I was 12 years old when his father summited. And I remember that very clearly because it was such a historical moment for the whole world. And he saw on my travel vest the Rotary, and he said, "Are you in Rotary?" I said, "Yes, I am." He stuck out his hand, we shook hands, and he said, "I am a member of the Rotary Club of Darjeeling, India." Next. So we had a photo. So next. So the message is that Rotary is truly international, everywhere in the world. And Rotary does good deeds, locally, globally, 33,000 clubs around the world, 1.3 million Rotarians. Thank you.
And I forgot to mention that John has been with us since 1983. It's absolutely fabulous. Everything he does is great. Okay. Dan.
Hello, we're going to give away some money. We have the small pot and the big pot. But while I'm doing the pot, if we could switch to the next slide. Chris Dodge, are you here? Yeah. We would like to have, I'm going to shuffle the cards, but Chris Dodge, would you tell us about your recognition and what's going on with the Pops?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my name's Chris Dodge, and hi, guys. And proud member of the Tucson Rotary Club, a Rotary Club of Tucson. And this coming Sunday, as I have the last two Sundays, I stand on a stage in front of 50 of the best musicians in the city of Tucson and really the Southwest, and I wave my arms and I hope for the best. So, and I'm going to show you real quickly how easy it is to do. So you just have to go right, but you're going to do it on my cue, which is going to be like the Rotary orchestra, and then I'll cut you off. But I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to cut you off, just so you know how easy it is. Ready? All right, here we go. This is how it works. And yeah, but more. I gave you a big signal.
And we're done.
You guys are hired. Thank you.
That, by the way, with our recognition, as it used to be known as fines, for anybody put in the paper or doing something special. So, Chris, thank you for allowing yourself
I
to be
paid
fined.
money for that.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
All right, and the winning number for the small pot, maybe the big pot, 498-177. 498-177.
Could be somebody counting.
Somebody left. Could be somebody counting. I don't know.
Redraw. Yeah, redraw.
All right.
Don't tell them, though.
Must be present to win.
498-158.
Still no good.
Hey!
Gene!
Art, pick a card. See if he wins the big money. 6 of hearts. You have a big heart, but no winner today, but the small heart. 31.
That's terrific. Thanks so very much for doing that, Dan. Excellent. And thank you for being such a good sport, Chris, and allowing yourself to be fined. Right. Now to a few announcements. My first one is there should be a slide about Morocco and Libya. We've both heard in the news about the earthquake in Morocco and, of course, the floods in Libya. I used to live in Morocco, so that's quite close to my heart. I've spoken with our district governor about the best way for us to try to get some financial support. And the best way Don Jorgensen has suggested, is online to Shelter Box. They will be providing shelters to people in need in Morocco and Libya. So please, let's try and give them as much support as we can. The next, books. Please, everybody put their hands up who's going to bring me at least 3 books from secondhand stores. Could be, I don't mind. Next week, I'm collecting books to go to a library. And I want to see as many hands as possible. Thank you very much. And I will bring the empty basket, and then I will fill it and take it home. So it's not as though I'm carting all of these books here every week. But please, let's try and get as many books as we possibly can for Make Way for Books or any other library that you all decide we want to donate to at the end of the year. Next, Don Jorgensen has decided there's going to be a competition. So please register for the Conference of Clubs, which is on October the 6th and 7th. And there are going to be prizes. One is for the club that has the absolute most number of members attending the club. That didn't sound quite right, but you know what I mean. More of us, the better the chance of getting the prize. And then on the second day, there's some sort of best percentage of members from a club going to the conference. So please do remember to sign up. Rare opportunity to talk with both UA men's basketball coach, Tommy Lloyd, and our Rotary Club's honorary member, women's coach, Adia Barnes. Hear about the upcoming seasons and joining the Big 12 and ask questions. It's a benefit for the UA Arthritis Center, which is conducting groundbreaking research and providing excellent patient care here in southern Arizona. Nina's on the board and will be emceeing the event, and you know she's great at that and she's quite funny. There are flyers on your tables. If you have any questions, send Nina an email or give her a call. And here's her Happy Jackson monies, which she gave to me. Terrific. So wonderful, Nina. And now we've got Dr. John back.
What happens on October 21st? All right, and we want everybody at the car show to know who you are. You are a Rotarian doing community service. We want everyone to be wearing a Rotary Club of Tucson community service shirt, and we have men's and women's. We will have the apparel shop open next Wednesday right there. Thank you.
I thought it was a hat I was going to put on, but wrong. Lee and Jeannie going to give us a car show update, and things are progressing fabulously.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We wanted to begin real quickly and introduce our current grantees. Marie Logan is the CEO with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Marcy is the Pima Community College Foundation, and Monica Duran had to leave, but she was with the Old Pueblo Community Services. Just a reminder, the ticket sales that we've been talking about, or will be talking about, go towards these 3 charities, so we really need you to get out there and sell. Thank you.
Okay. So this is the new I think the Facebook post that Cindy Barbie put out for all of us to be spreading on from the Tucson Classics Car Show Facebook page, and it's out there for you to share and encourage people to buy tickets. Next. Where it shows where we're at. We've come up about 1% after our meeting the first week of September. This is now the third week of September. We have 5 weeks to go counting today's money. And the good news is there were quite a few envelopes that came in, and I'm hopeful for good results. But we only have 3 meetings left to bring in money. So please start moving toward that with your member sales. Online sales are starting to pick up, but they certainly are below usual. We're actually about 2,000 tickets behind where we were last year at this point. So those of you that have done your 40 at events, or you've sent in your $40, if you could think about maybe asking a few more people to buy, that would be really helpful. We do have 3 more events coming up. That will help us. I just want to mention the next slide. We've got the people in red. As of last meeting, they've gotten up to the 40 to 99 tickets. Todd Ackerman, Monty Clausen, Charlotte Harris, Ray Smith on this page. And on the next page, Sarah Garr and Mark Irvin got to the 100 to 249 tickets. And so we are now at 54 people that have sold 40 and above. We've got 30 people that have done some sales, which means we've got about 40% of the people that have submitted some of their monies, or what they may think are all their monies. But we've got about a month left before the event, and we need you all to give it. You know, it's like if I were Chris Dodge and I could say sell tickets, everybody go, sell tickets, but don't stop for about a month. Okay. Did you need to say something more?
Yes, so thank you. I know I'm not on the list, but we do finally, and I apologize, have volunteer opportunities up. You can see on the list. We're going to not go there quite yet, but on the website, the volunteer opportunities are there. It's really easy. This is the public site. For Rotarians, if you look up in the top where it says TucsonClassicsCarshow.com, if you put a little slash, on the URL, if you put a little slash right there at the end and then put Rotary-Club, then it will take you to the Rotary only jobs. So we're going to start with that. Okay, so here are the jobs that are available just for Rotarians. This is super easy to do. Once you sign up, you just click on a job that you want to do. You scroll down to the bottom. Scroll more and more. There we go. And you can sign up for as many things as you picked. And I'm not even going to have us do that, but it's first name, last name, email, cell phone, and then there's a couple of other questions if you're over 18 or not. If you are a member of an organization, which you are, and the answer to the math question is 8, for those of you who don't know what 7 plus 1 is. So for those of you who are area leads, if you can please register your volunteers directly into this section. Diana has some little cards if you want to be able to refer to this. I'll be sending an email tonight with everything, and if there's any changes, please let me know. The volunteer jobs that are on the main site, if you click on that, please. The main site that everybody can see, on the blue bar, there we go. These are the volunteer opportunities open to the public. If you want to be a car slotter, either on Friday afternoon or on Saturday morning, this is where you would sign up for that. Okay? For Rotarians, we're changing where we're asking you to please put your time and effort. We really need you to take money. Only Rotarians can take money at the car show. And so if you would, on the Rotary site, sign up for ticket sales, parking sales, beverage sales, merchandise sales, those are the areas we need filled in first. And then you can do anything else that you'd like. But if you can choose one thing that is a money job, that would be great. The other thing is, if you're unable to attend, there's actually an unable to attend job. That way I don't chase you over time, because I do keep track of everyone who has signed up to make sure that everybody has met that commitment. So on the Rotary site unable to attend. Please make sure and encourage others you know outside of this group to sign up to volunteer. If you need help, I can help you today. I have my computer. And again, I will send more instructions via email this evening. And thank you for your patience.
Marcy, thank you very much. And I know you've all waited very patiently, and I thank you so much. But we're now going to find out who the beneficiaries will be. Jen?
Hi, everyone. I'll keep it short and sweet, but I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much to the amazing Grants Committee for your efforts in delivering such fantastic organizations for us to vote on for Car Show 2024. It was a hard decision and a tight vote. The winners are Sister Jose Women's Shelter and Wright Flight. Congrats.
Thanks so very much, and congratulations. Absolutely fabulous organizations. Love it. Okay, so we are over time. Sorry about that. But first thing, I need to apologize for all and any mistakes I ever make. You can just laugh at me. I don't mind making mistakes. You know, I'm being a fool, but that's fine. I'll try and make fewer as I go along. Thank you to all our virtual guests for coming today, and I hope you enjoyed the meeting. Welcome to everybody else that joined us. And if anybody would like to donate to our scholarships, the blue tin mugs, please put money in there. They're on the tables. Happy birthday to Art, to Bob, and to Diana. Now, next week is a very special week. We'll have Don Jorgensen. He's our district governor. He will be speaking to us, and he's a wonderful person and a great speaker. A toast and adjourn.
Please stand and raise your glass. From one motorcyclist to another, happiness isn't around the corner, happiness is the corner. I'm not going to tell John. Hello, Bruce. Good to see you. I was going to catch you before, but you look busy. You know, getting paid a lot for this job. Oh, yeah. Hey, it's good. It is.